Close your eyes and drift back to the year 206 BCE. The land that would one day be called China lies in ashes. As always, I choose not to include ads in my videos so you can relax and drift off peacefully without distractions after a long, busy day. It's more important to me that you rest well than to earn from ads. Before we begin, I'd love to know where are you listening from and what time you are now down below in the comments. I love seeing where everyone's tuning in from. Whether you're settling in for the night or just curious about where these legends came from, I'm glad you're here. Also, share which stories you'd love to hear next, and don't forget to subscribe and share it to someone who loves it too. The mighty Qin Empire, which once united the warring states beneath a single banner, has crumbled. The Great Wall stretches across silent mountains, unfinished and scarred by years of forced labor. In the cities, broken statues of the first emperor lie half-buried in dust. Across the countryside, farmers whisper of rebellion, and warlords rise from the mist like ghosts of forgotten kings. Out of this chaos walks a man named Liu Bang, not a noble, not a scholar, but a farmer, a guard, and a man of simple beginnings. Where others crave glory, he seeks peace, yet destiny has chosen him. As he moves from village to village, his charm gathers followers, soldiers, peasants, dreamers, people who believe in something gentler than fear. Against him stands Xiang Yu, the mightiest warrior of the Chu, a general whose name strikes awe and terror alike. Their struggle will decide who inherits the ashes of Qin. The air is thick with the scent of smoke and wet soil. Villages burn, armies clash beneath banners painted in red and black. For years, the Chu-Han contention rages, a storm of ambition and fate. And through it all, Liu Bang remains steady. Where Xiang Yu conquers through strength, Liu Bang endures through patience. When the final battle comes at Gaixia, the night is cold and moonless. Xiang Yu's army, surrounded and weary, hears the haunting songs of their homeland drifting across the field, sung by Han soldiers to break their spirit. The warrior realizes he is defeated. In the darkness before dawn, he takes his own life by the river, leaving the world to his gentler rival. And so, in the soft morning light of 202 BCE, the Han Dynasty is born. Liu Bang, now Emperor Gaozu of Han, rides into the capital not as a conqueror, but a man who has survived the storms of chaos. He promises a different rule, one not built on fear, but on balance. The people, long exhausted by tyranny, breathe again. The fields begin to bloom, the rivers flow untroubled, and the empire begins to heal. From the ashes of Qin's harsh order, a new harmony rises. It is the dawn of the Han, and with it, begins one of the most enduring eras in all of human history.
The wars have ended. Smoke drifts away from the fields, and the world exhales for the first time in many years. The year is 202 BCE. The weary land of China lies beneath a pale dawn. Villages begin to stir, not to the sound of soldiers, but to the quiet hum of rebuilding. At the heart of this fragile calm stands a man once called a bandit, a rebel, a wanderer, Liu Bang, who now wears the yellow robe of an emperor. They call him Emperor Gao Zu of Han, founder of a new dynasty that promises to heal what the Qin had broken. Unlike the cold rule of the first emperor, Gao Zu's leadership is simple, almost rustic, shaped not by the polished walls of palaces, but by the open winds of the countryside. He knows the weight of hunger. He remembers the smell of wet earth and the pain of labor. And so his rule begins with mercy. Harsh taxes are lifted. Fields once abandoned are restored. He calls back farmers to their homes and invites scholars to guide his court. The empire breathes again. In the great capital of Chang'an, walls rise from dust, not as fortresses of fear, but as symbols of renewal. Inside the new palace, ministers debate softly under candlelight, and courtiers write edicts that speak not of punishment, but of restoration. The emperor listens more than he commands, a rare gift among kings. But peace never comes without shadows. Some of his old generals grow restless, remembering the blood and glory of war. Among them is Han Xin, the brilliant strategist who helped Liu Bang defeat Xiang Yu. Yet now, in times of peace, his genius makes others uneasy. Rumors swirl, and the court grows divided. One evening, under flickering lamplight, Han Xin is betrayed and executed, a wound that would haunt the emperor for the rest of his days. Still, the Han endures. The emperor grows older, wiser, and more cautious. He realizes that a dynasty must be built not on the shoulders of one man, but upon a vision that will outlive him. He turns to his advisors, and together they begin to shape the philosophy that will define Han rule, a balance between legalist order and Confucian virtue. The dream of the Han becomes not one of conquest, but of harmony. When Emperor Gao Zu finally passes away, the empire he leaves behind is stronger, gentler, and filled with hope. His wife, Empress Lu, will guide it through its next test, ensuring that the flame of Han does not fade. And so, from the fields of the common man, an empire of peace begins its long journey, one that will span 4 centuries and define the very soul of China.
The storms of war have faded. Now the empire settles into quiet rhythm, like a great river finding its flow. In the years following Emperor Gaozu's passing, the throne passes through careful hands. First, through Empress Lu, who preserves the dynasty's fragile stability, and then to her grandson, Emperor Wen. Under his reign, the world begins to heal completely. Gone are the sounds of clashing swords and marching boots. In their place rise the soft songs of farmers at dawn, and the laughter of children playing among rice fields. The roads that once carried armies now carry merchants, scholars, and travelers from distant lands. The empire begins to dream again. Emperor Wen rules with humility rarely seen in kings. He dresses simply, eats sparingly, and speaks with kindness. His palace is not one of gold and luxury, but of light and peace. His ministers record his acts with quiet admiration, noting that the emperor governs not with fear, but with virtue. Taxes are reduced, prisons are reformed, and those once condemned under the harsh Qin laws are set free. The people call this the era of great benevolence. It is said that during Emperor Wen's reign, crime nearly vanished, not because of punishment, but because hearts softened under mercy. His son, Jing, continues his father's gentle path. Together, they create what later historians would call the golden balance, a time where the empire's strength and peace exist side by side. Under Jing's rule, Confucian thought blossoms. Scholars speak of Ren, human kindness, and of Li, the harmony between people and heaven. Great schools open their doors to students from every province, teaching them not how to fight, but how to live in virtue and reason. Beyond the cities, vast irrigation projects bring water to dry lands. The granaries fill and famine becomes a memory. Farmers no longer fear the tax collector. Merchants sail calmly down the Yangtze, their ships heavy with silk, salt, and dreams of prosperity. But even in peace, the empire must remain watchful. On its distant borders, restless tribes begin to stir. But for now, their drums are faint, like thunder beyond the horizon. For nearly half a century, the Han world lives under a soft golden light. Art flourishes, poetry breathes, and families grow across quiet plains. It is a time when people believe that heaven itself smiles upon the earth. As the lanterns of Chang'an glow through the night, the empire sleeps soundly. The morning mists rise over Chang'an. The peaceful rivers of the Han now mirror the gleam of armor, the whisper of destiny. The tranquil era of Emperor Jing fades into memory. In his place ascends a young ruler, Emperor Wu, known to history as Han Wudi, the martial emperor. Beneath his calm eyes burns a fire unlike any before him. The peace his ancestors built has given the empire strength. Now he dreams of greatness beyond its borders. From the moment he takes the throne, Emperor Wu is determined to expand, not merely in land, but in culture, in thought, in the very reach of heaven's mandate. He summons scholars, generals, mystics, and diplomats to his court, turning Chang'an into the beating heart of the known world. The emperor's first great challenge lies to the north, the Xiongnu, fierce horsemen of the steppes. For generations, they have haunted China's borders, raiding and vanishing like ghosts upon the wind. But Wu Di will not tolerate fear. He calls upon his greatest generals, Wei Qing and Huo Kubing, warriors whose names will echo for centuries. Their campaigns are long and bitter. The frozen deserts of the north claim many lives, yet the Han banners never fall. By sword and strategy, the empire pushes the Xiongnu far beyond the Gobi's edge. For the first time in memory, the frontier stands secure. In the west, another dream unfolds, one born not of conquest, but of curiosity. The emperor sends his envoy, Chang Chan, on his journey that will change the world. Through deserts and mountains, Zhang Chan travels for years, seeking new lands and allies. He discovers strange civilizations, powerful kingdoms, and goods never before seen, fine horses, spices, and precious stones. His return opens the path that will one day be called the Silk Road, a shining artery between East and West. Through it, silk flows outward, and wisdom flows in. The world becomes larger, more connected, more alive. Back in Chang'an, Emperor Wu turns his gaze inward. He strengthens the central government, reforms the economy, and builds massive public works. But with greatness comes cost, higher taxes, longer wars, and strain upon the people. In his palace of jade and bronze, Wu Di contemplates the heavens. He believes his destiny is tied to the stars, that heaven itself has chosen him to unite the world under the Han. He builds grand altars, performs sacred rites, and seeks immortality through Taoist alchemy. The empire, now vast and brilliant, glows like a burning sun at its zenith. And yet, every sun must cast shadows. As years pass, exhaustion settles upon the land. The old peace feels distant. The fields are weary, the coffers thin, and the people whisper of heaven's balance shifting once again. But still, the world cannot deny what the martial emperor achieved. He transformed the Han from a regional kingdom into a continental power, one that reached from the Pacific shores to the edge of Central Asia. Under Emperor Wu, the Han became more than a dynasty. It became a legend. And even as the stars fade over Chang'an, his name still burns brightly in the scrolls of time.
The empire is vast now, a living tapestry of rivers, fields, temples, and stars. And within this vastness, the people begin to ask not how far they can go, but who they truly are. After decades of expansion under Emperor Wu, the Han world stands proud, yet restless. The swords are quiet,
but the soul of the nation stirs. From this stillness arises a deeper wisdom, a search for meaning beneath the empire's shining surface. The scholars of Chang'an gather once more in the imperial halls. There, under candlelight, they speak not of war or tribute, but of heaven's mandate. In ancient belief, the mandate of heaven, Tianming, is what grants a ruler the right to govern. Heaven blesses the virtuous and withdraws favor from the corrupt. The rise and fall of dynasties are not accidents. They are reflections of the balance between heaven and humankind. The Han take this belief to heart. For them, heaven is not a distant God, but a living order, a moral rhythm that binds earth and sky. To rule well is to live in harmony with this rhythm. And so Emperor Wu, like the sages before him, turns to Confucianism. The philosopher Confucius, who lived centuries before, becomes the guiding light of Han thought. His words are studied in every academy, copied by brush upon bamboo slips, and carried by scholars across provinces. His teachings speak of duty, respect, kindness, and balance, values that shape not only government, but family, art, and daily life. To serve one's parents with love, one's ruler with loyalty, and one's people with fairness, this becomes the essence of being Han. In the countryside, farmers build small shrines to their ancestors. In the cities, artisans carve stone tablets with wise sayings and blessings for peace. The empire breathes with reverence for the heavens above, the spirits within the earth, and the generations that came before. Art, too, blossoms under this new light. Painters capture the quiet dignity of life, a mother weaving silk, a scholar writing beneath a plum tree, a horse galloping across the open plain. The Han learned to express not just power, but harmony. In their poetry, they describe the moon reflected on still waters, symbols of how peace lies not in conquest, but in understanding. Science and philosophy walk hand in hand. Han astronomers study the stars, mapping constellations and measuring time. They see the cosmos not as chaos, but as a mirror of the empire. Every planet a minister, every star a decree of heaven. And in medicine, the first great text of traditional healing takes shape, describing the body as a balance of energies, a small universe within the Great One. Through all this, the people come to believe that their dynasty is chosen by heaven itself. The Han see their empire not merely as land and cities, but as the center of the world's order, a realm of reason, virtue, and divine balance. In the quiet temples, the incense drifts upward, a bridge between earth and sky. And as the people bow to heaven, they also bow to the wisdom within themselves. But even as the empire grows wiser, unseen cracks begin to form, not in faith, but in flesh. Wealth begins to pool in few hands. Corruption whispers through the court, and the balance of heaven begins ever so slightly to tremble. The mandate of heaven shines bright, but its light is delicate, and soon the storms within will begin to stir.
Every empire, no matter how bright, casts a shadow, and in the stillness after greatness, whispers of unrest begin to stir. The Han Dynasty, now centuries old, has grown vast and complex, a living organism with 1,000 veins and countless hearts. But as time passes, the pulse begins to falter. In the capital of Chang'an, the great palaces still glitter in sunlight, their golden roofs gleaming like rivers of light. But behind those walls, the harmony of earlier times begins to fade. The noble ideals of Confucius, mercy, virtue, balance, are slowly drowned beneath waves of greed and ambition. The once humble court becomes a theater of intrigue. Ministers plot behind silk curtains, eunuchs whisper secrets in the dark, and rival families compete for the emperor's ear. The bureaucracy that once served the people now serves itself. Bribes flow like rivers of silver, while farmers far from the capital struggle to survive. Outside the city walls, the empire's burden grows heavy. Taxes rise, harvests fail, and local officials, drunk on power, exploit the weak. The farmers who once sang in the fields now fall silent. Their tools rust, their granaries empty, and their hope fades beneath the endless demands of the state. In the countryside, the seeds of rebellion begin to grow. Bandit groups form in the mountains, preaching equality and vengeance. Some call themselves the children of the yellow heaven. They claim that heaven has turned its face from the Han, that a new age is dawning, one in which the poor shall rise and the corrupt shall fall. And perhaps they are not wrong, for the heavens themselves seem restless. Floods wash through the valleys, locusts devour the crops, and strange stars appear in the night sky, omens, say the scholars, of a dynasty in decline. Within the court, the emperors themselves grow weaker, more distant. They inherit not the virtue of their ancestors, but the weight of their mistakes. Surrounded by luxury, isolated by flattery, many lose touch with the people they rule. The great empire that once pulsed with energy and order now drifts, beautiful, vast, and uncertain. Even the faithful Confucian scholars begin to question whether the mandate of heaven still rests upon the Han. And then the storm breaks. From the northern plains to the southern rivers, uprisings ignite like sparks in dry grass. The most famous of these, the rebellion of the 7 states, sees mighty princes rise against the throne, testing the very heart of imperial power. Though the emperor crushes the revolt, the cost is deep.
Trust between ruler and vassal is shattered. Heaven trembles, and the people begin to wonder if its gaze has turned away. In the shadows of this unrest, new forces quietly rise. Ambitious generals, reformist scholars, and the faithful who still believe that the empire can be reborn. For the Han, this is not yet the end, but a long night is beginning. And somewhere beyond the horizon, the faint glimmer of dawn still waits, the promise of renewal that only time can bring. Every dynasty must endure its storm before it learns to rise again. And soon, from the ashes of chaos, a new light will return.
The empire has fallen to its knees, but from ashes, even the coldest embers may glow again. For the Han, this is not the end, but a rebirth. The twilight of the Western Han had been long and heavy. Corruption, famine, and rebellion had nearly silenced the voice of the empire. Yet history has a rhythm, a heartbeat that refuses to stop. And so from ruin, the Han rises once more. In the year 25 CE, a distant descendant of the imperial line, Liu Shu, emerges from the chaos. A man of calm intelligence and quiet strength, he restores the dynasty's name and becomes known as Emperor Guangwu of Han, or the Bright Martial Emperor. But Guangwu does not seek conquest or glory. He seeks stability. His mission is not to expand, but to rebuild, to remind the people that heaven has not abandoned them. He moves the capital eastward from the ancient city of Chan'an to Liueyang, and so begins what history calls the Eastern Han Dynasty. Under his hand, the empire breathes once more. The fields are replanted, the roads repaired, and the granaries filled. For the first time in decades, the empire knows peace. Guangwu rules with gentleness and restraint, restoring the old ideals of the early Han: mercy, diligence, and fairness. His wisdom earns him the love of the people and the loyalty of his ministers. Even in distant provinces, peasants speak of the emperor with quiet gratitude, calling him the ruler who listens. After his passing, his descendants continue his work. The Eastern Han becomes a time of renewal and rediscovery. Science, art, and learning flourish again, like blossoms after a long winter. Scholars of Luoyang refine astronomy, measure the motions of the stars, and record eclipses with precision never seen before. Physicians write treatises on medicine and herbs, works that will echo across millennia. And in the workshops of the capital, inventors shape a miracle of the age: paper, light as breath, yet strong enough to carry the words of eternity. This simple creation changes everything. Knowledge flows more freely than ever before. The wisdom of sages spreads to every province, every scholar, every curious mind. The Han become not just rulers of land, but guardians of thought. The empire also reaches out once more to distant lands. Through trade routes stretching to India,
Persia and beyond, silk and gold change hands, and new ideas arrive from faraway worlds. Buddhism, a gentle faith from the West, enters China, whispering of compassion and release. At first, it mingles quietly with Taoist and Confucian thought, but in time, it will find a home deep in the hearts of the Chinese people. For a while, it seems the mandate of heaven has truly returned. The people are fed, the land is at peace, and the name of Han shines again like dawn after the longest night. But all flames, no matter how pure, must someday flicker. As generations pass, shadows creep once more into the halls of Yoyan. Powerful families tighten their grip on the throne. Eunuchs and warlords begin to whisper, and once again the empire's balance begins to tremble. The phoenix has risen from the ashes, but the fire that gave it life still burns beneath its wings.
Every dynasty is born beneath heaven's favor, and every dynasty fades beneath its weight. The Eastern Han, once reborn in light, begins to waver beneath its own splendor. Generations after Emperor Guangwu's renewal, the line of emperors grows distant, their power consumed by the palace and by those who dwell in its shadows. Within the marble halls of Luoyang, intrigue coils like mist. Eunuchs, once humble servants, become the quiet masters of the court. They whisper in the ears of emperors, forge alliances, and bend the will of the state for their own gain. Outside the palace, noble families grow vast and wealthy. Their estates stretch like kingdoms within the empire itself. The emperor's commands begin to echo, but fewer answer. The heart of Han authority, once strong and proud, becomes hollowed by greed and fear. Yet the land beyond the capital still moves with life. Farmers plow the soil beneath fading sunsets. Scholars still teach in quiet courtyards. Monks chant softly as incense curls toward the rafters. The people still believe in the name of Han, even as its rulers forget what it means. Then, in the late 2nd century, nature itself seems to turn against the empire. Floods sweep the Yellow River. Famine grips the countryside. Plagues spread through villages already weakened by hunger. And with misery comes anger, the kind that grows in silence for years before erupting all at once. In 184 CE, that eruption comes. Across the provinces, peasants rise beneath a single banner, the Yellow Turban Rebellion. Led by followers of a faith called the Way of Great Peace, they wear yellow scarves around their heads and call for a world free from the corruption of the Han. The blue sky is dead, the yellow sky will rise. Their cry echoes like thunder across the empire.
The rebellion spreads swiftly, engulfing cities and provinces. The government, weak and divided, scrambles to respond. Warlords, generals, and opportunists seize the moment to carve out their own power. The great Han army, once the pride of China, fractures into countless factions. Among these warlords are names that will soon define the next age: Cao Cao, Liu Bei, and Sun Jian. But for now, they are but sparks among ashes. The rebellion is eventually crushed, but the damage is done. The unity of the Han is broken beyond repair. The emperor becomes a figurehead, a symbol held up by men who fight in his name but serve only themselves. In the decades that follow, wars rage across the land. Warlords clash, cities burn, and the people wander, refugees beneath a sunless sky. Luoyang itself is set aflame, its palaces and libraries reduced to smoke. The mandate of heaven, once the Han's divine gift, drifts away like a sigh on the wind. The empire that ruled a continent now struggles to rule itself. The dynasty that once brought order to chaos now descends into the same storm it once calmed. And so, as the century closes, only ruins remain of what was once the greatest empire beneath heaven. But even in ruin, the Han name endures, for the people still whisper it with pride, with longing, and with memory. The light of Han has not yet died completely. It flickers still, within one last emperor, one last throne, and one last desperate hope. The dragon throne still stands, but there is no dragon left to guard it. By the year 189 CE, the Han Empire, once the most powerful realm under heaven, is crumbling beyond repair. The boy who sits upon the throne, Emperor Ling, is but a shadow of his ancestors. He rules a realm that no longer listens, surrounded by eunuchs who feast upon the bones of the state. When the emperor dies, his passing ignites a storm. Two princes claim the throne, one backed by the eunuchs, the other by the generals. Within the palace walls, blood is spilled. Eunuchs are hunted through corridors that once echoed with ceremony and song. Luoyang becomes a battlefield of whispers and swords. Amid this chaos rises a general, Dong Zhuo. Cruel, cunning, and without mercy, he seizes control of the court, claiming to protect the young emperor. But protection soon turns to tyranny. Dong Zhuo burns Luoyang to the ground, forcing the imperial court to flee westward into ruin. The empire's heart has stopped beating. As Dong Zhuo's cruelty grows, heroes across the land begin to stir. men who will shape the destiny of China's next age. Cao Cao, sharp as a blade, seeks to restore order through power and strategy. Liu Bei, kind and humble, dreams of justice and the true meaning of virtue. Sun Jian, bold and unyielding, carves his name across the southern plains. They are not merely men, they are symbols of what remains of the Han spirit, fractured but unbroken. Yet even they cannot save the empire as one. Each builds his own army, his own dream, and in time those dreams will clash like thunder. Dong Zhuo's reign ends in betrayal and fire. His own men turn against him, and he falls as many tyrants do, not in glory, but in fear. But his death brings no peace. The empire, once united under heaven, now shatters into countless fragments. From the ruins of the Han, three great powers emerge. Wei, led by the brilliant and ruthless Cao Cao. Shu, ruled by the benevolent Liu Bei, heir to the Han's virtue. And Wu, forged by the bold Sun family, lords of the southern rivers. The once mighty Han is no more. In 220 CE, the last emperor, Emperor Xian, weary and powerless, is forced to abdicate. He lays down the imperial seal, the very symbol of heaven's favor, and surrenders it to Cao Pi, the son of Cao Cao. The dynasty that had ruled for 4 centuries ends not in thunder, but in silence. The age of Han has passed. The age of heroes, the 3 kingdoms, has begun. Yet even in its fall, the Han name does not vanish. For generations to come, poets, scholars, and dreamers will look back upon this age with reverence. To them, the Han is not merely a dynasty. It is the memory of what China once was, noble, wise, and vast as the heavens themselves. Empires may crumble, but memory endures. And in the quiet hearts of the people, the Han will never truly die.